Well, I think it really comes down to the fact that they're lost, they're confused, they're living in this fallen created world, and without Jesus, they really don't have an answer for it. And they're looking for those answers for those fundamental questions like, why are we here? What's the purpose of life? How do we cure disease and suffering and pain? And how do we find the secrets to eternal life? And really, it's a substitute for the Bible. It really is. It's a substitute for God and salvation and the gospel and Jesus Christ. And so people think, well, maybe these alien life forms out there, maybe they've been around for millions of years. Maybe they have such medical knowledge to allow us to live forever, and they have those secrets. And so that's really what it. I think really what it comes down to is they're looking for those answers to those fundamental questions, and it's really a distraction from God and His Word. And so that's what I always say is aliens and UFOs is actually a great springboard for the gospel. And you can kind of bring that to the forefront. And you can talk about the issue of death and suffering. Why are we living in a world full of death and suffering? And here's what Jesus Christ did for you. And, you don't need to look to the sky. You don't need to look to aliens. You can look to the cross for salvation, for that assurance of everlasting life.
So I
And
imagine,
so that's why the way I always like to
yeah,
kind of
I
frame it,
imagine
I guess you could
you'd
say.
take a similar approach, right? If with the current trend around people's belief in the multiverse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, multiverse. That's a science fiction thing. That's a Marvel universe. It's a fun concept to think about. Honestly, I like watching movies about that. I'm a big Marvel fan. Nothing wrong with that. But what I like to tell people is let's keep the science fiction in fiction. Let's not try to move it into reality. Right?
right.
It's okay
Yeah.
to read about these things, to watch these movies for entertainment, but let's keep this idea of the multiverse and aliens and all that stuff. Let's keep it in fiction. All right. Let's try not to move it into reality. So
As we come down the stretch here, flat Earth, flat Earth.
yep.
I want you to settle this question once and for all, Rocket Rob. Is the Earth flat, and does it matter to us as Christians and as people who are called to share the gospel
Yeah.
with others?
Yeah. The Earth is a sphere. I think we're done. Earth's a globe.
See you next time, folks.
Settled.
Yeah. No. It's yeah. A lot of people might be wondering why the need to address this issue. We have a whole book on it called Falling Flat at our ministries. It was written by Dr. Danny Faulkner. We also have a few talks on it. We do different episodes. We have articles, and if you jump onto our website,